Have you ever wondered what it's like to work in law enforcement? Here on Behind the Star, we share stories about the Orange County Sheriff's Office, Central Florida's largest law enforcement agency. From forensics to dispatch to the deputies on patrol, we'll talk to the brave men and women who protect our community. This is Behind the Star, the official podcast of the Orange County Sheriff's Office. Welcome to Behind the Star, the official podcast of the Orange County Sheriff's Office. My name is Jon Busdeker, your host here at Behind the Star, and we got a doozy for you today. We are hanging out with some gamers because we have something at the Orange County Sheriff's Office called the Mobile Video Game Theater. To my knowledge, it's the only one that I've ever really seen, at least in the state of Florida, to the degree that we have it. So first of all, I want to welcome Sergeant D'Angelo Bell and Deputy Micheaux Boyce. Welcome to Behind the Star.
Welcome. Thank you, sir.
Oh, not I want a rousing. Oh, are you guys excited?
Yes, we're very excited.
All right.
Yes,
sir. so yeah, we're talking about our mobile video game theater that we have here at the Sheriff's Office. I'm going to start with Sergeant Bell just because he's a higher rank than you, Deputy.
Hey, I get it.
Okay.
Why don't you explain what exactly is the mobile video game theater?
All right. So we have a 33-foot game trailer. On the inside, we have 11 flat screen TVs. We have the PlayStation 5, the Xbox, and the Nintendo Switch on the inside of it.
So explain, Micheaux, why do we have this? Why do we have a video game trailer at the Orange County Sheriff's Office?
Well, one of our goals is to, meet the youth in the community where they're at. Gaming is big right now. It's a multi-billion-dollar business, and gaming is blowing up in Central Florida. So this is one of the things we wanted to do to kind of get ahead of that boom and catch on to it and use it as a chance to be able to interact with the youth and community.
So we're going to get into this in detail, but before I do that, maybe talk about community relations. Both of you work in our community relations section here at the Orange County Sheriff's Office. Sergeant Bell, what exactly is community relations?
Community relations is a very big component here at the Orange County Sheriff's Office. Here we strongly believe in trying to meet all the needs of all the citizens located within Orange County. Mm-hmm. Here within our community relations section, we have so many different programs we use to, interact and provide assistance for, citizens here in Orange County. We have things such as the turkey giveaway, where normally we give out like 500 turkeys and all type, different type of foods and stuff for families that's currently in need. Mm-hmm. In December, we normally display all of our specialty trucks, like all our SWAT trucks.
Oh yeah, we do like an open house.
Yeah, and we decorated and stuff with different type of Christmas lights and stuff, and we did pretty much try to engage with all the citizens in Orange County and make sure we meet all their needs in any type of way. Not only do we protect and serve, but like I said, we try to find different ways that we can be a better assistance and provide assistance to all of our citizens of Orange County.
Yeah, I know we do Citizens Academy and Teen Academy. That all goes through community relations as well.
Yes, sir.
Yep. Yeah, it's a good way to get people an opportunity to speak to deputies and people in law enforcement when we're not there to handle a call. Usually that's not a time when we can get too in depth about other things, but these events gives us an opportunity to let people talk to us in a different light.
And if you're interested in community relations, I'll tell everybody listening, you could probably go back. I know you can go back in our podcast because I did a whole podcast about exactly what community relations is. So go back and listen to that one. I don't remember the episode number off the top of my head, but just search for community relations. But the reason I'm here because we're talking about the mobile video game theater, and that's part of community relations. So explain where this idea came from. I mean, is it something that you guys saw online somewhere? Was there another agency, or was it just everybody sitting around a big table said, why don't we just buy a trailer that has some video games in it?
I think how it came up pretty much just sitting around a table and we were just thinking about it. It's like, okay, so we need to find a new way of interacting with kids. What do kids like? And we were looking around, 4 kids. Video games. So I think it came up, and we did a lot of research, just look at it and try to see exactly how it would look like. And we just pretty much just put our brains together and just came up with the game theater.
Now, Deputy Boyce, had you heard of any other agencies that have something like this?
Well, no, I've seen them as like businesses. You can buy your own mobile game trailer and take it around and do birthday parties and things like that. I've seen that, but I'd never seen an agency. Well, take that back. I think I did hear that NYPD might have had some,
but nothing here in
but
Florida.
nothing
here
like
in
Florida.
ours.
nothing like the ones that we have here. So yeah.
So then, before it got here, like, tell me how that happened. I mean, was there a lot of sort of work to get the trailer here, both in building it and also like getting people on board? Because I'm sure when you go to some people and say, "Hey, we want to buy a video game trailer and we want to take it out to go play video games with kids," I'm sure there's some people that are like, I've never heard of that, or that's a weird idea, or I don't know if that's going to work.
Yeah.
Why should a law enforcement agency even have this? So were there any hurdles when you sort of pitched this idea?
I mean, I don't think it would necessarily no hurdles. I mean, of course, something like a trailer with video games, that's definitely outside the box, right? For law enforcement to do it. But like I said, once we all came together and came up with an idea of what it's going to look like, our captain did an amazing job. And of course, Sheriff, I mean, he's always on board, especially when dealing with community engagement. So he was all for it. We all got on the same page, and we went ahead and did a little research on the company that would best fit what we were looking for. A lot of calls with them, and we flying back and forth to make sure everything met our need. They did an amazing job, and they designed the game trailer exactly for Orange County Sheriff's Office. So it was a pretty wonderful experience,
Yeah. What can you tell me about this company? I don't think they were based here in Florida. They were somewhere else.
Yeah, the company that we actually got the trailer from is out of, I believe it was South Carolina.
Okay.
They the guy that we got it from, he's built hundreds of these trailers.
Oh, this is his job.
Yeah, this is his job.
Right. We
Yeah,
didn't just
yeah.
find this guy on Craigslist.
Not Craigslist.
No. Yeah, he's a former, I believe when we met him, he's like a former Navy engineer. Like, he builds things for everything. That's what he does. And he started building these trailers. He sells them all over. And he's really into his work. He delivers every single one of them himself. He actually drove the trailer from South Carolina down here to us to Orlando, gave us a whole, run through of how everything works and trained us all up on it.
So when you're talking to him originally and you say, we want a video game trailer, are there different levels of trailers? Like can you say, I want 10 TVs or 2 TVs, or I need it to have air conditioning because it's 1,000,000 degrees in Florida? Like, is there what I'm getting at, is there like a Honda Civic version of a trailer and is there like a Lamborghini version of the trailer?
Right. So when we spoke with them, and like I said, we went ahead and let them know, hey, we want all the bells and whistles. We want the top of the line. So that's what he pretty much delivered to us, the top of the line. Everything that we have located inside of our trailer is the best that he actually have. Like I say, the PlayStation 5, the Xbox, even down to the generator, it's the top of the line. So you can do your research on it. It's the best of the best. So that's what we got.
So yeah, talk about that. So there's it sort of is a freestanding trailer. Now, granted, it needs to be pulled somewhere, but
Yeah.
So it has a generator, like Sergeant Bell said. Explain why that is. Why is there a generator, and how does that all work?
Well, one of the things that we noticed when we were doing our research, we had some of these other companies that were, where people take the trailers for like birthday parties and things like that. We spoke to a few of those people, and the questions we were asking, like, what are the problems that you have with something like this? And every single one of them said power. They either don't have enough power or think they're running things too much, and it's throwing circuit breakers and things like that. And so just to make sure we didn't have that problem, we got a big, powerful generator to make sure we're always going to have all the power we need. We're not going to worry about, we're running things too much. And like I said, we have some great air conditioning units on there because, like I said, it's Florida, it's hot. And with the tech that's in there, everything's got to stay cool. So it's keep us cool, keep the machines cool, and make sure everything runs well.
Yeah, and I've been inside when the air conditioners are going. It's great. I mean, it's like there's, nice air conditioning in there. And you're right. You get 20, 30 kids in there, or however many can fit inside.
Yeah.
On a hot summer Florida day, you got to have some air. And I think there's at least 3 air conditioners.
Correct.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And so I know we sort of launched this, I want to say back in March or April. It hasn't been that long since we had this.
Yeah, the the first event we did was, I believe, for our Police Athletic League football all-star game in March, and then the first event for the public was in April.
So what's been sort of the reaction so far when you go out there, and it's usually deputies and kids or adults and kids, but mostly kids is the focus of this. What's been the reaction so
Amazing.
far?
So, I mean, it's like a big arcade on wheels. So, we go out places and we see, like, the kids, they see it and they look on the inside. They're like, oh, my God. So they sit there and they pretty much get glued to the seat. beats. And like I said, it's a wonderful tool because when they're in there playing, we have deputies on the inside, speaking with them, talking to them in the whole 9 yards. So overall, like I said, with the community, they love it, and we get a lot of requests for it as well. So it's definitely a popular thing here in Orange County.
So why is it important that deputies interact with kids?
Well, I mean, one of the big things is you have a lot of times where you have children that they're afraid. They don't want to come and speak to us. They, feel like they can't come up to us. And we want to let them know, like, if you have a problem, you can come talk to us. That, we do the same things you do. When, we can sit and play Madden the same way you go home and play Madden. Like, we have the same hobbies. We do the same things. And, just let them know that we have stuff in common with them. And that, makes us easier to approach in the future if they have to.
And sort of maybe think broader on that. When you have a deputy and a kid that are interacting, maybe not that day they're going to say, well, this is happening in my neighborhood or this happened or whatever. But maybe like down the line, is that sort of the idea that, okay, maybe if something does happen one day, they're not afraid to call the police or at least talk to a deputy in case something happens.
Yeah, we want them to know that we're approachable. We want them to know that you can talk to us. You can, speak to us just like anybody else. If you have any issues, you can come and let us know. And it's just a good way for us to be able to have that connection with them.
So earlier today, Sergeant Bell and I did a live video tour of our mobile video game theater. If you want to go check that out, it's on our YouTube page. It's on our Facebook page. But one thing that Sergeant Bell, you mentioned during the tour was that, yes, we have PAL, which is great, which is the Police Athletic League, and kids can go play basketball and kids can go play football and all range of different sports. But you said not every kid is great at throwing a ball or chasing a ball or whatever.
Right.
And so that was another reason to maybe think about getting this mobile video game theater.
That's correct. Like I said, now it's not, you have a lot of kids that, they have different interests. Some are really big into the video games and some are really big into sports. So like I said, one of the reasons that we decided to purchase this theater was that we wanted to be able to cater to all the kids' interests. So and that's what is definitely a wonderful tool, and it's been very helpful with us with that. So
Deputy Boyce, you had mentioned that you're a big gamer.
Yeah.
So when it came time to not just getting the TVs and the systems, like how do you choose what goes into the mobile video game theater in terms of what systems and what games and how do you pick what the kids are going to get to play?
Well, one of the biggest things is kind of just paying attention to, well, like with games, it's the same as any other kind of trend. You can see what movies are doing well. You can see what TV shows are doing well. You can look up and see what games are selling. That's what the kids are playing. And those are the ones that we try to gravitate towards, like the sports games. You have, FIFA, NBA 2K, Madden. Those are always going to be hot games. Those are ones that, they sell every single year. And the kids are always happy to play those. But then, we wanted to also make sure that we had things geared more towards the younger kids. So we have a lot of, like, the Lego Marvel Superheroes, It Takes Two, Spider-Man, things that we wanted something for all age ranges to be able to play and enjoy at the theater.
Yeah, and I know some of the systems you have in there. I think Nintendo Switch.
Yep, we have
PS5.
Nintendo Switch. Yep.
Was there Xbox?
Yeah, there's the Series X, Xbox Series X, PS5, Nintendo Switch, and there's a PS4 in there for virtual reality as well.
So one thing people ask, I'll be honest, I'm not a big gamer now. When I was in my teens and early 20s, I'm just about 40 now, but when I was younger, I did play a lot of video games. But, like, I've seen how it's really hard to get a PS5. How did you guys get a PS5?
That pretty much came through the vendor.
We get asked that a lot.
You call up Sony? You're like,
We get asked that a lot. So when the vendor, when we told them what we wanted, he just said, okay. And when he pulled the trailer down, it had him in there, and we asked him, we're like, how did you get him? And he was like, hey, we have people that we get them through, and
exactly.
That's
that was it. Yeah. Okay.
But
you're like, what happens in South Carolina?
in South Carolina. Right.
Yeah. Well, they. I'm assuming when you run a business as big as him, he has connections where he can get a lot of those systems.
Yeah. I get it.
Yeah, it makes it easier. But yeah, I don't know where he got them from. But he's a lucky guy.
and part of having these different gaming systems in there is that, and you sort of touched on this, is that kids tastes change too, and there's new games and all that. So you also have the ability to update things. Maybe obviously the systems, but mostly the games. As new games come out, I assume you can get new games on all these devices.
Oh yeah. It just really just takes and that's the thing is, it takes the funds to do it, but once we have that available, if there's something that we think will go over well and we'll get a good response from the kids, then we're going to look into it and always try to make sure we have things that they want to keep playing.
So during this tour, Sergeant Bell, we talked about some of the other parts of the trailer. Now, the video games are the main draw to everything, but for our sake, when it comes to like safety and security, there's some other things on it. Like I know there's some cameras on it, and I know there's a ramp. It doesn't sound super exciting, but those are things that I think are important if we're going to take it out into the community to have those things.
Correct. Yes, sir. So like I said, we have a couple cameras on the inside, and they're just for safety purposes. That's all that's for. And we have our ramp right there, which is just pretty much help people come in and out without, tripping and falling, anything like that. And also it's designed for, let's say we have someone in a wheelchair, so we just want to be able to make sure that it's easy for them to enter and exit our theater.
Yeah. And that's a good thing. A lot of people, they might not think of that, but if you're somebody who is in a wheelchair or has a son or a daughter that's in a wheelchair and that you want them to experience it, you could play outside. But, it's kind of cool to go inside as well.
Yeah,
exactly.
One of our events, we actually did have a parent with a child in a wheelchair, and they were able to bring him in, and they really enjoyed it. And they were actually very happy that we had the ramp available for them to be able to access it instead of them having to stay outside in the heat. They're able to go inside in the air conditioning and play everything else. So they were happy about that.
And that's great. That's really great. And so I want to talk about the inside a little bit because we didn't talk about this. So the outside is, the outside, there's 4 TVs, I think, on the outside and 5 on the inside.
Yeah, there's
7.
4 outside and 7 inside.
Not so great. But there's a bunch of TVs on the inside, but it's also like kind of dark in there and there's lights going on. Tell me about that. What was the decision or why make it sort of like a party inside there?
We just want them to have fun. Like that's the whole point of it. We didn't want it to just be kind of like a static thing where they're just sitting down. Because to us, it's one of the things that we were thinking about is what would make a kid want to come and play here as opposed to going home and playing the one that they have at home. We want to make it fun. We want to make it exciting. So we try to just, do little things. Like I said, we have the lights in there. We have, the speakers for the games and everything. We just want to make it a fun environment for them while they're there. So that way, it gives them more incentive to come and play. The happier they are, the more fun they're having, the more interaction we get to have with them.
Yeah, and if you can't really picture this, like I said, it's a big trailer. There's a big bench inside. I say bench, it's like a padded bench, and there's a bunch of TVs and video game systems. We've done videos on this. There's photos on it, so you can go online and kind of see what we're talking about if you can't really picture this. But, it's really fun because I've been to these events where there's kids playing, and like you said, there's deputies playing games, there's kids playing games, and they're just as good as the deputies too when it comes to playing some of the video games.
Better sometimes as well.
So you mentioned earlier that it was at a PAL event, was one of the sort of the first events that the video game theater was at. It was also at an event here at the sheriff's office a few months ago. Can you maybe talk about some of the ideas or places that you want to take this in the community? Like, is there anybody in particular you want to partner with, or just ideas of where you hope to see this trailer kind of be out in Orange County soon?
Well, with us, like I said, what we're looking at is, of course, we're going to deploy our game theater at some of our events as well. Probably at some local parks throughout Orange County, HOAs, and any other request that we get that actually fits within what we're looking for. We're going to actually try to deploy there as well. So we're going to try our best to get it out at as many locations as we can, especially during the summer. So we're going to be very active this summer with our game trailer.
Yeah, because there's a lot of community events, and they don't have to be these giant events where there's thousands and thousands of people. It's probably better that way. But there's a lot of these like neighborhood parks and like you said, HOAs and community events that something like this, it could be a great sort of addition to.
Exactly.
Because like you said, kids will come up to it, they'll start playing, adults might come play a little bit, and they start talking with you, and I'm sure they like to see that you guys are in the community as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, we've gotten honestly, some of the best responses. The kids come and their focus is the game.
Yeah.
And every now and then you have parents come in and they'll play the games with the kids in the trailer. But we do have it also gives us an opportunity to talk to those parents while their kids are in playing with some of the other deputies. Some of us are outside. We can talk to those parents and give them other information about things. We've had parents ask about our different programs and other things we had going on, and it was a way for us to really kind of interact with them that we wouldn't be able to before because they were there with us in person.
And I think that's fantastic because I think about, sometimes something goes on in the neighborhood, I'm sure, and you're like, well, I don't feel like I don't think I should call 911. Maybe it's not an emergency. It's not my business, whatever. People have these things that they say to each other or maybe just internally. But then when they see a deputy and they're like, oh, wait a minute, I might just mention to this deputy, like, hey, there's somebody in my neighborhood and they just, something seems a little off. And you might tell them, well, that's not something, or maybe it is. And we'll send somebody over there to check it out. But I'm sure just like having that personal conversation can help just make better neighborhoods.
Yeah. And like I said, our whole purpose as community relations, like I said, is to relate to the community. We want to know what the community needs, what they want, what they're looking for. And it's easier for us to get that information when they feel that they can come and talk to us about anything. And so that's a big part of it.
So who's the better gamer between you two?
Oh, me.
Oh, so Deputy Boyce. It was not
I
even
get it, boys.
He made that challenge one time, and we haven't challenged it again since.
So is there a particular game, Deputy Boyce, that you're good at?
I'm a big FIFA fan. I love soccer. I'm a big soccer fan. Have been for pretty much my whole life. So that's my game.
Okay. How about you, Sergeant Bell? Is there one that you're kind of good at?
Madden. I'm a Madden guy. I love Madden.
All right. So you like American football and you like other kind of football.
Right.
You guys don't just go down there and play some games when you're supposed to be working up here, do you?
Nah. I wish, but yeah.
So if people want more information on the trailer, is there somewhere that they can go or somewhere on our website? Or
they can go to our website and go up under community relations, and they can go ahead and shoot us an email. They'll see my name on there, Sergeant D'Angelo Bell. Shoot me an email, and we can go ahead and take care of it from there.
Okay, because I'm sure if people have questions and want, I don't want to say maybe have it at their party or anything.
Right,
I mean, we're not hired out to do kids' birthday parties.
We've been asked, but we're not. That's not happening.
But there might be some organizations in town that might be a good fit, and so don't feel bad trying to email Sergeant Bell. I mean, he'll go through them and he'll talk to you if it's something that could be a good partnership with us.
Right. If it's a great partnership, we can definitely be there. But it also depends on our availability because we do get a lot of requests, and like I say, if it fall within our availability, we'll make it happen.
All right. Well, Deputy Boyce, Sergeant Bell, thank you so much for being on Behind the Star.
Thank you, sir.
I'm going to practice up on my video games. It might take me a few years. I can't even think of a game that I was really good at NBA Jam.
Oh, really? I remember that.
In the arcade.
I mean,
I remember that one.
Hey,
that's a classic.
Yeah.
I remember that one.
I'll get the Shaq Penny Hardaway combo.
Oh, okay.
That's cheating right there.
Yeah. Anyway, so thank you guys, and we'll see you next time on Behind the Star.
All right. Thanks.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe to Behind the Star. You can find us wherever you get your favorite podcasts. Also, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Until next time, I'm Jon Busdeker, and this is Behind the Star.